Here's a short overview of the presentation I gave recently about how to use NotebookLM in your family history work. So there are some common scenarios I find. You may have a lot of information on Family Search or other sources out there, and you just don't have time to go through all of it. So is there a quick way to go in and analyze or summarize it? And actually, this is becoming a bigger problem because there's so much more information now out there in Family Search or Ancestry or other places. So used to be it was very difficult to find some of this information. Now it seems there's an overload. Another common scenario, let's suppose you've been working on this stuff for years or decades and you have a big collection of information. It could be old stories and photos and whatever. But what do you do with it now? There's a tool called NotebookLM that's part of the Google suite, and it can do amazing things with this collection of information you have, and it can do it in seconds. So you can find NotebookLM by going to notebooklm.google.com, or you can just go to your Google account and click on the little dots in the upper right, which is the app menu, and you can find it there. So let me drag this over here, and we'll show you how this works. Okay, so let's suppose we're in Google here, and you can click up here in the upper right, and you can go to this app called NotebookLM. You may find it down at the very bottom. It's a new app, so you might have to scroll down, and you can drag any of these, up to a different spot on the page if you want. But in this case, we'll just go with NotebookLM, which I have up here. We'll click on that, and you go here to My Notebooks. And I've created a few of these, but you can create a new notebook. We'll start with this one that's just an untitled notebook, and I'll show you how this works. So we click in here, and you can just upload sources. So you can either go in and choose File from your hard drive, or you can even drag them in. And that's what I've done a lot of times. In this case, I'm going to recreate one that I did in the class, and I only pulled in 4 sources. So it was about the Tesh family, and I selected 4 documents. If I can get this to work. So we'll take these 4 documents here, and we will just drag them into that window. And they're PDF files. It really likes PDF files. It will work with Word docs. It will work with Google Docs. But if you've got them in PDF format, that's great. So what it will do is we'll pull this in, and now you can see instantly it's already created a title for me. It's digested these 4 files, and it's named this collection, Peter Tesh, A Life in Personal Records. And then you've got some options here. The first thing you can do is to go in and create a study guide. So if we click on that button, it will take just a minute, and it will start creating that study guide for us. And then I want it to also create a briefing. So I'm going to click on that, and it's starting to create that now. I'm going to generate a frequently asked questions summary, and it's going to do that. And each of these you can see are just taking a couple of seconds. And then I'll create a timeline. This is a really powerful tool, and it's generating that as well. And you can see most of these are already done. In addition, you can create a mind map. So if we go in and create that, it's working on that one as well. And it looks like these are all just about done. In addition, you can create an audio overview, and that takes a little bit longer. It might take a minute or two. But I'll go in and show you what some of those look like. They're really impressive. But let's go down and look at these things that I've created. So the first thing I did here was what it's showing as a study guide. So if I click on this, this is actually if you were putting together a quiz for a class you were teaching or a lesson or something like that. It's got some short answer questions you could ask about the subject material, in this case, the life of Peter Tesh. It has the answers to those questions. You could do essay format questions. So if you're teaching a class you're assigned, it's got all kinds of cool stuff. And in addition to that, it's got a glossary of terms. So all these different terms are included in the information that I uploaded. So it talks about the 14th ward, and it has accurate information about that ward in the church, employers, all these different things. So really impressive. So that's the first thing it shows. If you come back here, this is a briefing document. So just a high-level summary of the 4 documents, and it talks about who was included in here. It has nicknames for different members of the family. It talks about key themes of Peter Tesh's life, how he was a patriarch of his family, some key points about that. about the 6 brothers, some of their unique characteristics. And then it talks about shared experiences and enduring values within that family. And then it has important ideas and facts, which are also very meaningful. So a really impressive summary here, and you've got that just a few seconds. In addition to that, you've got, let's see here, this is a detailed history. So this is a timeline, and this is maybe the most impressive thing that it generates. I mean, it's very accurate. It pulled all this just out of those documents, and it will go in chronological order, everything that happened throughout his life, different time frames and key events, and it's all summarized into meaningful time frames as well. In addition to that, you've got we covered the timeline. Let's see, the frequently asked questions should be in here. Oh, this is a note. Sorry, they don't put them in the same order you generate them, so it becomes a little confusing to remember which is which. Okay, we got that. We got this. Go to the third one. And let's try the fourth one. 2, 3, 4. Anyway, I don't know where the frequently asked questions found it, but it should be in here. Anyway, this is the mind map right here. You can tell by the little icon here. This is really cool. So it's got Tesh memories, and you can see it's got stuff about him. Then you click on that, and it expands, and it has summaries of his personal traits, his key relationships, and some of his life events. If you click on one of these, again, you see different information. You can click on these and get a little bit more detail. So a great way to learn quickly or summarize key aspects of somebody's life. It's got this about each of the children and their lives. It talks about their home and how it was a location for family gatherings, examples about that, a description of the home, you know, all kinds of really amazing information here very quickly. All right, the last thing I want to highlight is how it can create well, actually 2 more things. We'll talk about the audio overview here, but I want to also go back and show you how you can use this chat feature. So if I go in and pull open, let's see, here is another one I did about Peter Tesh, and it has a summary here at the top, but if I ask, actually, let me go back and do another one. I apologize. Let me go and find one about Herman von Breck. This was one that has some really great info. I pulled in more sources on this, but let's say, describe Herman's impact on the Dutch, on the Dutch community in Ogden, Utah. And it will take a minute to think, and it's going to go through, look through those, I think, 15 sources I uploaded on this one, and then it's going to give us some answers about his impact on the Dutch community in Ogden. And here it is, just a few seconds later, a really impressive summary. It talks about how he assisted Dutch immigration to America. It talked about his missionary service. It talked about his impact on his family. It talked about his professional and temporal achievements, his personal character and legacy. I mean, just an amazing summary, and you saw that happen in just a few seconds. So you can go in here and type up all kinds of questions. Hey, tell me about this, or is there any information about this? And it will show you all of that. Now, the other thing that's so cool that you can do here is it can create an audio summary that talks about this person. It's basically like a podcast episode, but they're very, very impressive. And they'll take, like I said, a little bit longer to load or to create. It maybe takes 2 or 3 minutes to create. This one just had to be loaded, but it's 18 minutes. You can go in and customize these, by the way. You can ask them to focus on specific aspects of the information. You can ask it to tailor the audio summary to a specific audience or people with a specific interest, and it will do that. It's really amazing. But take a listen here, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
What does it truly take for one person, born into humble beginnings far away, to become such a cornerstone of a new community and leave this legacy of, well, faith and resilience?
It's a deep question, isn't it? And today, we're really diving into a life that embodies that. Herman van Breck.
Herman van Breck, okay.
Born in Holland, 1862, passed away in Utah, 1944. His story is just an incredible example of perseverance, faith, and how destiny kind of unfolds in surprising ways.
Absolutely. And our mission here is to pull out those key nuggets, from family histories, funeral talks, mission journals.
Right, get beyond just the dates and facts.
Exactly. We want to understand what drove him. How did he handle these huge cultural shifts, personal challenges, become an entrepreneur?
And dedicate his life to serving others, helping so many along the path. It's quite the journey.
So let's unpack it. Herman van Breek, born July 25, 1862, Varsseveld, Netherlands, youngest of 9 kids.
9. That's a big family.
Huge. And raised Protestant. Apparently, he read the entire Bible by age 10.
By 10?
Yeah, it was actually a textbook in his school. How important do you think that early Bible knowledge was, looking ahead?
Oh, massively important, I'd say.
Yeah.
It clearly became a foundation. You see it pop up later. But his youth wasn't easy.
No.
He helped his father, who was a tailor, carried heavy irons and boards, then long hours, farm work, sometimes foreman, for very little pay.
Really grafting from a young age.
Totally. He worked on land reclamation projects, the boulders, mowed grass in marshlands, harvested grain in Germany, made wooden shoes in winter.
Wow, quite the range of skills.
By 19, he was foreman of a large farm. So not a life of ease at all. Constant, demanding work. That builds resilience, right?
Definitely builds resilience. And that work ethic. You see it later with his businesses, don't you? That adaptability.
I think it absolutely does. It gave him this self-reliance, a practical know-how, which leads to this really pivotal moment.
Okay.
Summer of 1884. Exhausted after working on a railroad grade, he falls asleep, has this incredibly vivid dream. Yeah. He sees a young woman, maybe 35, wearing a railroad caretaker's cape. Later, she's tending goats.
Okay.
And he gets this strong feeling, this impression he's supposed to marry her. Though he apparently joked he wished it was a cow, not goats.
That's quite specific for a dream. But do we always listen to those feelings? Because his first reaction in reality was different.
Completely different. Spring 1885, his aunt says, "Hey, you should meet this young widow I know."
And Herman?
He just laughs. Reportedly said, "Me marry a widow. Not me."
So pretty dismissive.
Very. But destiny calls. He visits his aunt that summer anyway, and who does he meet?
Let me guess.
Jacoba Venny, widow of Hendrikus Bregonsch, the exact woman from his dream.
No way. That's incredible.
Isn't it? So they married January 29, 1886. And get this, Jacoba actually was a railroad crossing caretaker.
Just like the dream.
Exactly. Supporting herself and her 7-year-old son, Albertus, who sadly had this bone issue in his hand.
Wow. It really shows how life can, guide you down paths you didn't expect, even ones you laughed at.
Absolutely.
Okay, that goes on and on, but as you can see, really impressive in terms of the quality and the interesting information, and all of that took a few minutes to generate. And like I said, you can go in and tailor those. So this is a tool that has almost unlimited applications and possibilities. I'll be teaching additional lessons on this one in the coming months, I'm sure, about other ways to apply this, but I highly recommend playing around a little bit with this. The one caution, I guess, is there is a limit to the number of audio summaries you can create within a specific period of time. I think I did 5 or 6 the first day, and then it locked me out for a few days. You can pay for an upgraded subscription and do unlimited audio summaries, but really powerful tool here. And hopefully those of you who have a lot of information, or you've come across a lot of documents and you're not sure when you're going to find the time to read through them and digest all that information, just dump them in here and let the power of NotebookLM do all of that for you.